Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 3 of the DT2 project. We're rolling right along here. If you remember, part 1 was pretty much focused on just getting it to spark, which ended up being a couple electrical gremlins with the points and the obvious part with the coil with the wire cut. So part 2 was stripping down some parts, getting it ready for painting while I waited for other parts to come in the mail, which they finally arrived, some of them. And got the carburetor off, getting that cleaned up. Still got to take it into my buddy's ultrasonic cleaner, so that'll be on the way. And part 3 here, we're going to focus on getting the points installed. Just solder the wire on the coil, which is real basic. It's just a cut wire. And I'm going to soak the fuel tank with distilled vinegar on the inside. And a couple other little things probably going to come off. So it'll probably be a fairly quick video, just because I'm waiting for other stuff to happen before I can continue. So the goal is, though, eventually to, once I do get it running, I'll strip the exhaust off and a couple other pieces and put some more elbow grease into the rims, get it up on a jack probably, and just shine it up. But just want to confirm that it runs, which I am very confident that it will. And as always, I got to ask, if you're not a subscriber, to please consider hitting that subscribe button, leaving me some likes, leaving me comments, stuff I'm doing wrong, stuff you'd like to see, suggestions, everything. I'll take them all. So it would go a long way in helping my channel. And if you like seeing this kind of stuff, I'm planning on having more. I got the DT360 coming along in the pipeline, and also an MT250. So there will be more. So if you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell for the alerts when I do upload them. I try to get one in at least once a week. Doesn't always happen, but I try to at least get one wrenching video in a week, and then I'll upload like quick riding videos here and there. But yeah, it would go a long way in helping me. So let's get into it. Next up, I'm turning my attention back to the coil. I'm going to attempt to repair this wire that was cut. Basically just slide a piece of heat shrink over top of the wire, and then I'm going to solder this together, and then slide the heat shrink over top of that, and then cinch it down. So I'm going to give it a try. I guess first thing I'm going to do is try to put this together somewhat. Let's see. Actually, don't want to forget about the shrink wrap on there. That big of a piece. Just want to kind of get these somewhat intertwined, and then I'll put the solder to it. thin solder here to put that together. I guess the tricky part for me is going to be holding this up. I have to find something that can maybe kind of hold this up off. Pretty close to being good. Pretty strong on there too. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to slide the heat shrink over that. Slide this over this here and cinch it down. I got the heat shrink over top of where I made the repair, and I'm just gonna, I don't have my heat gun on me right now, so I'm going to just put a flame under there, heat it up just enough to get that to cinch down and on there, seal it up. See if I can do this without burning the wire. Alright, well that feels pretty good. So I guess I'm gonna test it on the bike again, give it a couple kicks, just to make sure it's still throwing a spark. Next I gotta throw on the flywheel, just to give it a test here real quick. Then it's gonna come back off and I'm gonna replace the points on here as well. I got the new points finally arrived. Pull this plug out again here and see if we got fire. Okay, so since I confirmed it'll spark with the repaired coil, I'm going to take the flywheel back off and install this new set of points that I got for it here. I think I'm going to hold off on doing a condenser just because it works with the current points. I'm just really replacing it because that little C-clip disintegrated and the points are a little bit worn on it. So since I know it works, I'm just going to leave the condenser in because it would require me to have to resolder that. And I figured since it's working, I'll leave it in, put this on, and then set the gap on it. compare these two here. Old one, new one. Make sure they're right. It's good to me. Reuse the screw that came out of there. Try to set it to kind of where the other one was. I know that it's not going to be dead on, so I just want to get it close. And then I'm going to come in with the flywheel on, and actually there's like a little spot right between the points in the plate. And you loosen this up, and you can kind of twist the screwdriver and move the points themselves. You know, depending on where it is once the cam's on there on the flywheel. It'll open these up here, and then I can set the gap that way and then tighten down the screw. So I'm just going to kind of snug up this screw here and get the flywheel back on. So this next part's kind of hard to show with a camera that's not directly pointed right inside the flywheel opening here. But I'm basically going to rotate the flywheel. I'm going to try to keep it so the light is on the contact, the points contacts there. You can see them. Right now they're at their widest gap as I spin this, which is way off obviously. So I'm just going to spin it again so you can kind of see them moving. See right there. They're closer. They should be touching at some point, but the adjustment's way off right now. So I'm gonna rotate this until I'm at if I see it at the widest point, which appears to be right about here. And then I'm gonna get a feeler gauge and put it in between the gap there. And the reading on that should be 0.35 millimeters, plus or minus 0.5, I think it was. I'll have to look at the manual again. But let me grab my feeler gauge. I'm going to see if I can get that in there and use the screwdriver up on that little notch to turn it so that I have a little bit of drag on the feeler gauge once it's in there. Slight correction on what I just said. The contact breaker point gap setting should actually be 0.35 millimeters, which I was right, but the plus or minus was not 0.5, 0.05 millimeters, and it's 0.013 inches. So I have a feeler gauge that is actually right on, let's see if you can see this, 0.330 millimeters and 0.013 inches. So I'm going to use this one since it's within the range there. Hopefully this translates well over the camera. It's a little bit hard to get a straight on shot on there and not get in the way of the camera, so it's about as close as I'm going to be able to get it, I think, for you to see, so I'll give this a try. A little bit of drag on there. I think that's about right where I want to put it. See what happens here. I'm going to tighten down that adjustment screw and then see if I still got spark. And just to test this, I'm just going to quickly spin this around and see if they touch, which it looks like it is there. Guess we'll find out. I might have to adjust that again, but I'm going to test for spark now. Okay. I think I need to adjust that a little bit more. I don't think they're making complete contact, so I'm going to loosen that adjustment screw up again and just give it a little twist so they're slightly closer and just test the gap again. Okay, definitely touching now. So the feeler gauge just has a little bit of drag on it. I think that's right. Test for spark again, we'll find out. There we go. Good spark. Alright, got the points gap set, got the coil fixed, the wire that was cut, and I'm getting good healthy spark. So I think I'm going to cinch down the flywheel and move over to the fuel tank next. Alright, so I took the fuel petcock off, try to clean that up, but it's in pretty bad shape, so I just took the seal off and I'm going to block it off with this piece of aluminum. Just kind of put this here and then screw it down just to keep it tight, and then I'm going to fill it up with distilled vinegar just to get some of that surface rust that's in there and some of the loose stuff that might be in there out, and then the fuel tank will be good to go because this one's pretty solid. Get this lined up flat side down. Hopefully that seals that up so that I can fill this up and let it soak. That's my cap gasket, temporary. Works pretty good. So I got the tank ready for the vinegar. I actually saved some of the vinegar from my previous fuel tanks that I've soaked. You can reuse this stuff. I just kind of filtered it out a little bit. A little rust colored, discolored, but I'll be flushing this out once it's done anyway, cleaning it out. It's really just to break up the rust and get down to some good metal, but it's already really good in there, so it's not going to take much. So I'm not even going to put the chains in or the screws like I normally do, because there's really no heavy scaling rust to get off of there. So I'm going to dump it in, and we'll let it sit. Alright, I got it filled up to the top. I'm gonna let that soak. I'm gonna close the lid here. Let this get some soak time too. I did buy a gasket set for this. Comes in 3 pieces. There's the outer ring, which this one just crumbled away, and I think there's there's 1 or 2 smaller ones on the inside, it looked like. So I'll eventually be taking this apart too, just to get all those in there, but for now, close it up. It's going to soak. See how this is going to look. I'm just going to leave this off for now, but I'm going to get a glimpse of it cleaned up on the bike. Yeah. Compare this half to this half. Just a couple minutes of buffing with the with an airline compressor and one that was untouched. I mean, huge difference. It's going to look pretty good. Had some oil soaking on these screws here for a couple days now. So I'm going to try to get this heat shield off, get it shined up. Okay, that one's good. A little persuasion, that one came loose too. So luckily I didn't snap any of these screws off. Shine this up a little bit here, see how much of this I can get off with just a Brillo scrubby pad. Oh, that's coming off nice. It's looking pretty decent. cleaned up pretty good. It was just with a little wire brush, some metal polish, and a green scrubby pad. I think it's going to look pretty good. Of course, I'll take this off and paint it, but I think I'm going to keep it on until I get it running first. So once I get the bike running, then more parts will come off, including the exhaust for paint and polish. All right, guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave off on this video. Keep it short and sweet. Got the points installed, the coil fixed up, got the points gap set, confirmed spark after putting all that back together. So really it's ready for the carburetor and some fuel, and I'm going to drain the oil out of the crankcase and stuff. I still have yet to do that, but I think it's ready, pretty much ready for its first start attempt. So hopefully in the next video, if I can get the carb into the ultrasonic by next weekend, hopefully have a video up next weekend of that. So I might end up just trying cleaning the carb out real good. If I can't get over to my bud's house with the cleaner, I might just do it the old-fashioned way by hand and see if I can get it to fire up, because really the carb wasn't in that bad a shape. So really then all that's left after that is more elbow grease. I don't need to bore you with all that. I will show bits of it, but I don't need to record every single ounce of me shining metal and painting and all that, but I'll include some of that, of course. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video, part 4. Hopefully it'll be up next weekend. See you then.